I have some of my chakra sage burning in the background, bringing us in with cleansed energy. I am Simone the Shepherdess, and I was taught that when you get, you give. When you learn, you teach. Me, I'm here to preach, and y'all finna get this word. Welcome into Fire Breath Friday. It is when we utilize our fire breaths to center ourselves, ground ourselves, and align us with releasing what is no longer serving our highest good, and assisting us and aligning us with receiving all that we are destined to receive. Before we begin, I am going to cleanse the energy with my sound bowl. The 4 sounds that you hear coming from the sound bowl will represent me cleansing the 4 elements of water, fire, air, and earth. Who is it? How can I help him? What you got for me? What you make? What's that? Yo, what?
My machine, remember that?
Your machine?
Yes.
What kind of machine?
The machine can cook, spin
They can do all of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So if you are not familiar with fire breaths are when you utilize only your nostrils to take short, rapid breaths. The key to fire breathing is ensuring that your abdomen is protruding and constricting as your lungs fill up and as you release all of the air from your lungs. Let me see. That's right. Good job. We have built on the amount of fire breaths that we do every Friday based off the chakra that we are currently working on. Since we are focused on the throat chakra, it should be 5,000 because we started with 1,000 fire breaths, but due to time constraints today, we're only doing 500. But I promise y'all, since next Friday is the last Friday of the month, we'll definitely be doing 5,000. What else? Today I'm going to be doing my fire breaths with my motorbike and some what am I looking for? Since I can't find what I'm looking for, I guess I'm going to do blue tansy again. This has been my go-to for this chakra, maybe because it's blue and it smells. I love the smell. It's like what kind of smell? I get kind of minty from it. It's like a floral minty, I don't know, but I love it. How are y'all loving the lippy? I woke up today like I haven't given you a red lippy in a while, so voila, magic. Before we begin, let us center ourselves and ensure that we are present by taking 4 deep breaths, slowly inhaling through your nose until the capacity of your lungs fill up. Hold it for 3 to 5 seconds and then release it from your mouth. And as you are releasing it, I want you to envision you releasing whatever is overwhelming you, whatever is hindering you, whatever is holding you back or holding you down, and not holding you down in a positive way. We're going to do 4 of those. We're going to go straight into the 500 fire breaths, and then we are also going to end the fire breaths just to bring us back to this present moment. Sometimes you dive so deep in the fire breathing that you float away physically and spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So just to bring us back to your present environment. So yeah. Come here. Yes. I hear you. Yes. I'm about to meditate, so if you're gonna be in here, you need to be quiet. You hear me? You hear me? That's not being quiet. Let us begin. Cairo, that is not being quiet. Shh. tell y'all what I get ready to burn or light or use to cleanse the energy or to cleanse my personal space, because I don't want y'all to think I'm burning something in the Vicks or spellbound over you and your life. The same way I can do good or high vibrational things with these elements, a person can do bad or low vibrational things with these elements. That's why we gotta stay protected. That's why we gotta stay protected. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, but today we're gonna kind of touch basis on impeccable listening and what impeccable listening is, in my opinion. And it's kind of going to piggyback on the journal prompt or what we spoke on yesterday in regards to what is your body telling you. First and foremost, I wanted to explain that impeccable listening isn't just you listening intentionally and attentively with your ears, even though it does include that, but it's also being, now where did you come from? That's one thing about wearing white. Being aware of and paying attention to body language and subliminal messages, and also reading between the lines. And all of this stems from my own experiences. So, and also including quieting your mind, and again, intentionally listening. So don't think about what you're cooking for dinner if somebody is trying to explain something to you or get an opinion from you. Impeccable listening is quieting the mind and giving that person your undivided attention. You giving them eye contact. You're not being on your phone. You're not trying to multitask while you are listening or speaking. Well, no, listening to them. So a few lessons that I learned, being able to listen to, yes, my body, but when I was pregnant with Cairo, I think I told y'all this, but Cairo, I ended up having an unassisted home birth with Cairo. It was not planned, but it was manifested. So all throughout that pregnancy, like, I had been educating myself on giving birth and what a home birth would be like, and what to expect with a home birth. But I still, like, I was going to, what was I going? Morehouse Medical Associates, Morehouse Healthcare, that's what they changed their name to. And I really wasn't fucking with them. I really wasn't fucking with them. I had Quentin and Cairo. Kaden and Quentin and Emory. I wasn't fucking with them. But I still had so I ended up getting a midwife. They ended up referring me to a midwife. But the midwife only did births at Atlanta Medical Center, and I was not having my baby at Atlanta Medical Center. Like, I just knew I wasn't having my baby in there. But the way it played out, I let those folks believe what they wanted to believe. But I guess I'm not upset that I didn't do it, but I didn't, like, prepare to have the baby at home. So I wish I was just a little more prepared at home with certain things. But real shit, you don't even need shit to have a baby. You have all that you need. So I don't know why I'm saying it, so I'm gonna take all that back. You have all that you need to have your baby already. Anyway, all throughout that pregnancy, because something came to me and was like, Simone, you're gonna have a natural birth. Kaden and I had an emergency C-section. I had an epidural and an emergency C-section. Quentin, I had an epidural, but it was a vaginal birth. Cairo, I had nothing, but a vaginal birth by myself. Does it fly?
Yes.
I'm almost finished. But all throughout that pregnancy, when I would like question myself, like, can I do this? Is it possible for me to do this? I kid you not. Every time Kyra would move, Kyra would confirm to me and reaffirm to me that it is possible. You got this. You can do this. I swear to God that anytime I would have questioning thoughts about giving birth, and not even where I wanted to give birth, but how I wanted to give birth, and Cairo would nudge me, kick me, move around every single time. Impeccable listening skills. See, if I wasn't able to correlate my thoughts with the movement of my baby being correlated to one another, then I wouldn't have had the courage to have him the way that I had him. Another one is when you're speaking to other people. I ended up having this, it wasn't an incident, but a season where I realized it was time for friendships to end based on where we were on our journeys, which is okay. So what ended up happening was somebody reached out to me and they were like concerned about one friend. They was like, yeah, I really think you should speak to her, or like encourage her, or kind of influence her, and not words of influencement. You get what I'm saying? Like influence her with my encouraging words. Cause I've always been like, they used to always, before I even became a mom, because y'all know I had my baby at 18, my first baby. But before I even became a mom, I was always like the mother of the group, the more mature, and the one that is telling people right from wrong and what I think you should be doing. And very, now I feel like hovering, because now that is no longer who I am. It's like, you're on your journey. I want you to do what you feel is best for you. Like, yeah. And so that was one friend. So he was like, I really want you to help this one friend. But then he also was like venting, like, and then such and such is crying about this, and such came over here with a black eye, and such is going through this. And I'm like, you know what? And it's so crazy because all of this happened like right after my breakup. So I really reached out to people to kind of get support in what I was going through and what I was experiencing. And then this was placed on me, and then I accepted it, because I didn't have to intervene, but I chose to put myself in this predicament. So I was like, you know what? All of us should just get together. It's time. We like, after, because these are people I've known since middle school. So I'm like, you know, after we left high school, we all kind of like went our separate ways to do other things. But it was never like us falling out with one another. Like, we would come across each other's path every now and then. And I'm just like, you know what? All of us are parents at this point in time. We need to support one another. Should nobody be crying over a nigga not giving her gas money? Like, all of us working. I feel like you should have the type of friendships where if my friend needs gas, and I know she's a mom, and she needs to get from A to B to make some shit shake, and she just ain't got it right now, I can give you gas. I can fill your tank up. That's the type of friend that I am, and that's the type of friendships that I, you know, hope to align with. But yeah, so I'm like, you know what? We need each other. That was my intention. Well, I got around these people, and then I realized these people didn't ask me for help. It was somebody outside of them that's like they need help. And that was me realizing on the back end that if a person doesn't come to you directly and ask for some type of assistance or opinion, don't try to insert yourself in it, because it can go left. And so one of the friends, the one who was crying about like not getting gas money from a nigga and all this other shit, ended up venting to me about how she had battled with suicidal thoughts, like to the point where she called the suicide hotline, and they sent a counselor to her house to counsel her through whatever her whatever she was going through. And that kind of bothered me because I'm like, on social media, you popping up at such and such house, hitting a blunt and showing up at parties, or, you know, showing up. You can smoke with somebody, but you don't feel comfortable speaking to your so-called friends about how you are questioning your life, questioning the worthiness of your life, questioning you being here on this planet, not yes for yourself, but also for your children, because she has multiple children. She's a mom. So that kind of bothered me. And it's crazy because when she told me that, I was in the process of, I was in training for work for the suicide hotline. I'm like, what? I don't feel comfortable working for the suicide hotline, and my friend needs me. Like, so, and nobody influenced me to quit, but I'm like, I can't, why am I not pouring into the people who have physical access to me versus me training to be a counselor electronically or virtually for somebody that I don't even know, somebody that I probably wouldn't even be able to resonate with. So I ended up like literally in the midst of training, stopping training, quitting that job. Like, you know what, this isn't for me, because it was also tough as well. Like, I commend anybody who has ever worked on the suicide hotline or is working, or if that's your passion, kudos to you, because I feel like I'm a little too realistic regarding certain things, and you have to be very empathetic in a position such as that, because you can say the wrong thing and a person will literally blow their head off while you're on the phone with them. So I commend anybody who has been through that or is currently journeying through that or feel that that is what they're meant to do. So I ended up quitting that. But long story short, this person, so she told me that about like how she battled with suicidal thoughts, but then simultaneously, like, this person is telling me how she's fucking around, fucking with this nigga, this type of person, this married man, got this from this nigga, got pregnant by this nigga, miscarried this nigga baby. And I'm just like, whoa. Like, it was a lot going on. So I'm just listening the first day, and then it said on me, I'm like, you know what, if a person is my friend, I would want them to feel comfortable enough to offer me constructive criticism. If they're feeling like, you know what, you might be going down the wrong path, or you are being very what's the word, like, risky with your choices, with your decision making, maybe you know need to do this, or maybe you should seek this, or how can I help, or what do you need? Like, I am that type of friend. So once I sat with it, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my friend how I feel. So she came over to my house, because I was like, hey y'all, like, I have an emergency, can everybody come over, can we talk? And she was the only person that showed up. So and the whole time, y'all, I'm listening to impeccable listening skills. One, to the bitches that couldn't show up for me if I had an emergency, who couldn't even show up for me due to whatever they had going on, and who did show up. Like, so she showed up, but when she showed up, like, I explained to her, like, voiced my opinion, like, hey, I'm in the process of trying to align with marriage, and I don't think you should be fucking with a married man. Like, it was just stupid shit. Like, I'm fucking with a married man, and I was asking him like where his wife at, and he like jokingly said, oh, she's somewhere around here in her quarters. And I'm like, I don't play like that, because I don't know what these folks got going on in their relationship, but first of all, you are a mom and they are married. So just because a nigga telling you anything doesn't mean it's the truth. So what if the bitch come in there and she see her man laying with a bitch, and then she shoot you? Now you dead. And now you dead. Like, that's how I think. Like, yeah, so like that's what I'm explaining to her. And like, she was just like, so I'm trying to align with marriage too. And it just went left. It went left. Like, it didn't go the way that I envisioned it going, because in everybody's mind is like, I'm grown, I can do whatever I want. And they are right. I was totally wrong. I shouldn't have stepped into shit. If you want to lay and get lay, do whatever, get whatever, like, do you. I had another friend who was getting beat on, or is getting beat on. I don't fucking know, because I don't talk to her anymore, or I thought she was a friend. And this is somebody that, and it's not to shade her, but it is just building up the story, who has had many abortions. And not just from this man that she has a baby by currently, that is, she's had many abortions by him, and then she's had abortions by other people, which is your right, because I feel like a woman has the right to choose what she wants to do with her body. However, what I don't want you to do is utilize a decision that you made as a crutch, meaning that she finally had this baby of his, and again, somebody came to me and was like, yeah, she came over with a black guy, like, I'm concerned about her. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try and pour into it too. Like, what do y'all need? How can I help? And her response was, I don't need no Ayala Bazant to come in and try and coach me through my life. And I respected it, because obviously you enjoy getting beat on, so get beat on. Journey through what you want to journey through. And this is not me being funny, this is me being dead ass. So I was just like, okay, cool. And she was like, my mama can't even tell me about my relationship, so you not gonna be able to come in and tell my relationship. And I'm like, say less. But granted, and what I had to explain to all them is, y'all can't tell me some of y'all business or put stuff on me and don't expect for me to have an opinion and want to voice my opinion about something. So you can't tell me not to come in being the Ayala Vazant, and I'm taking you to the fucking abortion clinic, and you've been on the phone lying to the nigga talking about, I want to get this pair of shoes, but you spend the money on an abortion, a 5th or 7th abortion. That was the passion in me coming out. So I was just like, okay, cool, I will not Ayala Vazant your fucking life. Do you? That just got me so heated, I lost my train of thought, y'all. But it went left. Ultimately, it went left, and I take the responsibility for it going left. I shouldn't have gotten your business, because if you've been with this person for 15 years and had 15 abortions by him, and now you feel like since you finally had a baby, you want to deal with getting beat on, and this is where you want to stay because that is your baby daddy, then who am I to tell you not to? If you want to be at home crying over a nigga that's not giving you gas money, and this was literally never your nigga, and you was a sugar baby, even though you've had many of his babies, who am I to correct you? To try and influence you to do something better. If you want to lay around with married men while they wife is in the house and do whatever you want to do, like, who am I to stop you? We are here on our own journeys, and we have to seek the light on our own. Like, it was not my place to try and come in and do whatever I was trying to do in that season. And how does this relate to impeccable listening? I bet you're asking. So impeccable listening is, so for instance, the girl who is or was battling with suicide or whatever, I should have been impeccably listening, because as soon as she told me, before we even talked about the married man and the miscarriage and the sleeping with the resident and getting STDs from different men, like, before she even told me all that, she told me about the suicide. So imagine if I was aware enough to be like, if this person doesn't value her life or her kid's life because she's considering taking her own life, then what makes you think that she is going to be able to be open to and absorb what you are saying? She's not going to see what you're saying in a high vibrational or loving manner. She's going to feel attacked because she's attacking herself. And that's what I mean by impeccable listening, context clues, and body language. We had ended up going to one friend's house before she came to my house, and the entire time she was sitting on the sofa, she was snacking, like, on chips, on chocolates, on bars, on gummy bears, on this, drinking liquor and doing this. And I'm just like, that is impeccable listening. If a person is consuming death, and she was so emotional the whole time, like crying, because I think she just went to a funeral or somebody had died or something. She was somewhere. So she was in an emotional state. And matter of fact, it wasn't even about the funeral. It was about being there for the nigga who had lost his son. But then one of his ex-females had came to the house. And that female was the one that was basically handling all the business or something. And something. She had been lied to about who this person was and how they had not really stopped fucking with each other. So, some shit like that. So, just looking at how if a person doesn't love themselves, it's going to show. So, if they don't love themselves, they don't love you. If a person doesn't value their life, and they told you they don't value their life, they're not going to value yours. So, the way that ended up ending, I don't even know what happened. I ended up reaching out. Because something ended up happening where all these friends that I had supposedly stepped in to try and assist were having side conversations outside of the group chat that all of us had. And apparently it was like opinions, or granted, you can have your opinion of me and what I was doing. So I just wanted like to clear the air, because I'm like, if we're friends, we should feel comfortable enough telling each other literally anything. Yeah, you might have a disagreement with a friend, but this bitch was like, I want to pull up and fight you. Like, you can see what this pistol do. Like, literally wanted to take my life. That's how I took it. Like, in writing, she wanted to take my life after all of this. Based on me saying, I don't think you should be fucking with a married man in this married man house. Like, that extreme. And you can't play like that, because if you are considering taking your life to the point where strangers had to come into your home to counsel you to not do that, that's some type of cry for help. Whether it was some attention seeking or you are literally considering taking your life, that is a cry for help. You can talk to your mama, you can talk to your grandma, you can talk to your sister, you can talk to the people that you pull up smoking on, you can talk to the married man that you fucking on, you can talk to the baby daddy that you had babies by. Like, that is a cry for help. So the fact that a friend came to you to voice her opinion out of love and you immediately wanted to take my life, I put it all on me. It was all my fault. And I'm not being funny, I'm being dead ass, because I lacked impeccable listening skills. Because it was all of these red flags and pivotal moments that led up to the last moment that I should have been aware of, that I should have had impeccable listening skills to deduce that this person isn't mentally stable. So that means that she doesn't have the capacity to receive anything that I am giving. Everything is going to be received pessimistically. Yeah. So having impeccable listening skills is looking at people's body language, looking at subliminal messages, listening attentively and undividedly. Yeah. So don't try and think while you are speaking to someone else, because a lot of us are not even listening, but we're hearing to respond. So while somebody's talking to us, we trying to come up with our rebuttal or come up with an answer or to come up with some type of solution without even letting them get out the entire problem first. So you gonna miss out on hearing some shit because you in your mind trying to solve some shit. So yes, let's focus on having impeccable skills. I hope that answered someone's question, enlightened them. But yeah, that's crazy. But at the end of the day, though, I put it all on me. I shouldn't have tried to step in to help the one that was getting beat on. I shouldn't have tried to step in and help the one that was crying about gas, because that's the one that wanted to take my life. I shouldn't have stepped in to try and pour into the one that was addicted to perks. Like, I should have just stayed in my lane. But it was so perfect the way it happened, and I literally give thanks, because my relationship ended in June of that year. Then somebody came to me and was like, yeah, this is going on, I really want you to talk to them. And we all ended up, I ain't gonna say we all ended up filling out, but we just all went our separate ways. Like, besides the one saying she wanted to take my life, like, who asked me to pull up at a park. I'm like, bitch, you know I stayed. Why would I pull up at a park? Come to my house, the one you just left. Like, come to my house if you really about that life. Whew, give thanks for growth, y'all. I'm sorry, I digress. But besides that one that wanted to take my life, the same one that wanted to take hers, it wasn't a fallout. I was just like, you know what? We are on different journeys. We are in different seasons. Of course, I'll never be able to fuck with the one that said she want to take my life, because I just feel like if I've known you since middle school and literally we never had a falling out and I haven't done anything physically to harm you and you want to take my life, bitch, you been my ops. You've been jealous of me. Like, you've been having something on your heart against me. So I don't play lightly with shit like that. So I'll never fuck with her again. But is that unconditional love, Simone? It is, because I come first. I have to protect myself. Like, I have to protect myself. Nobody's gonna protect me like I protect me. On God. So yeah, like, it wasn't like a falling out. We got into it. We just all ended up going our separate ways after that little incident. Nobody was seeking help. It wasn't my place to step in and try and give help that wasn't sought after. So at the end of the day, I blame myself. But we grow. I hope all of them are doing well. I hope everything is working out in everyone's favor. I wish abundance and peace on all of them. I wish unconditional love on all of them. I wish a healed heart. I wish intellect on all of them. Don't send no type of harm their way. I hope they overcome. I hope they overcome and align with their highest selves. Ashe. So the journal prompt for today is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your listening skills and why? 10 being an impeccable listener and 1 being you deaf, literally and figuratively. So about a 5 would be you hear people but you don't listen. What does that mean? You hear unintentionally and you listen intentionally. So I can hear a noise, but that doesn't mean I'm listening to it. I literally have had a struggle through when I get like somebody will come talk to me about something, and if it's not relevant or if I feel like it's not adding value, I'll literally like shut them out while they're still talking, and I can like go off daydreaming on something. And don't let me be on my phone because I'm literally like all in on my phone. So I'm learning to stop doing that. But yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your listening skills and why? 10 being you are an impeccable listener, so you listen with all of the traits, characteristics, and skill sets that I have said an impeccable listener would possess, or what an impeccable listener does. And 1 being you are deaf, literally and or figuratively. Like, a person is talking to you and you, whatever you got going on, you don't hear them and you aren't listening. Let's see. I'm pulling a few cards today. The first deck I'm pulling from is my hindsight deck. Spirit. I am near. I am clear. I'm ready to hear. What's the message? The flock needs to know. Tell me. Tell me so. Tell me what I need to know. Don't worry about the opinions of others. We often seek approval from others first, but your dreams, ideas, and goals start with you. Nobody can see what is stored within the mind and heart. So if you are met with disapproval, remember, they're only judging your first few steps, not your heart. Keep going and we will follow. I love that. Don't worry about the opinions of others. And honestly, truthfully, when I went in trying to help, I went in with a sense of judgment. And I had to ask God to forgive me for that. Because even though I went in thinking I'm going in with this unconditional, high vibrational intention, that was my perspective. The others could have felt attacked. You hungry?
Yes.
You ate all your food?
Yeah, everything is spicy. Salsa, another cantaloupe.
You don't even have cantaloupe, so how cantaloupe spicy?
Cantaloupe?
Yeah, I didn't give you cantaloupe. You had guacamole.
Guacamole.
Salsa.
Chips and challenges.
So what was spicy?
The salsa.
Yeah, I don't know what, and I did go in with a sense of judgment, but it says nobody can see what is stored within the mind and the heart, and that's true. Even with a person sitting there telling you, cause like she was laughing about how she was in the man's house and how he talking about the wife was somewhere in her quarters in the same vicinity. Like, she was laughing about it, and I'm like that's not okay. But I don't know what was really on her heart and mind. Some of us express ourselves differently, so she could have been laughing in front of me, but inside eating herself up, crying and hysterical inside herself. But that doesn't mean that's the emotion that she felt was valid enough to share with me. Granted, we were supposed to be friends, but ultimately, I went in with a sense of judgment, like what you're doing isn't right and you shouldn't be doing that, and that wasn't my place. And that was not my place. So don't worry about what others, do not worry about the opinions of others. Even if you feel like their intention is, out of love, is for your best interest. Your best interest should be for yourself. And I had to learn that, for real. I had to forgive myself for stepping in, because it was not my place. As much as I felt like I wanted to be of assistance and build this sisterhood, we all were not in alignment with that same manifestation, which is valid, which is very valid. No hard feelings, no hate. You live and you learn. And boy, did I learn. Not to mind other people's business. So we got 36, reflection, hero pose. Embark on the journey to invite acceleration of your soul's path here on earth. Embark on the journey to invite acceleration of your soul's path here on earth. Seated in the gesture of the hero with knees bent and hips on heels, we are invited to acknowledge that we have been on the hero's journey. This posture in yoga practice is one of stillness and reflection. When we are experiencing the journey, it is important to pause, sense, see, and become aware of where we have come from and where we are going. This is connected to our unique ability as humans for visioning and insight. The third eye is the space of higher sensing, intuition, and reflective gaze. We can review our progress and process. If you've just begun the quest, or if you have entered the belly of the whale, give yourself the space to see the journey more clearly with discernment. This reflection is informed by your psychic consciousness and the power of your mind. All journeys are undertaken for a reason. Give thanks. And I literally had to give thanks. So after I sat through, asked for forgiveness for myself and forgiveness for the Most High, I sent up gratitude for that season. I'm like, I needed it. And like I said, it was so perfect because that relationship that I was in ended in June, and all of us went our separate ways in November of that same year. So I honestly, that year, y'all, I was going through it. I'm like, God is just really stripping me of every fucking thing, every fucking body. And in the midst of it, of course, you feel attacked, you feel alone. But now it's almost 2 years later. I'm like, I needed it. I needed that to make me the person that I am becoming. Message: you are a soul who is awakening to a greater quest. The time is now to see yourself embarking on or immersing yourself in a noble path. This is the true path of awakening, where we hear the call. Take the challenge. face the demons, discard the idea of who we think we are, and come to the finish as our authentic selves. It is the path that all seekers are invited on, and it helps us to evolve more quickly. By choosing this card of reflection, you are asked to see where you are in this process. If you have been fearful of taking the first step, this card encourages you to do so now. If you have been fighting the demons, you are assured that you are being supported in this endeavor. The journey calls for taking time for reflection as a way to process the experience. Try to do so without judgment. In each stage of this process, you will be given clues to your greater abilities, talents, and strengths. The hero lives in our archetypal consciousness, which emanates from the third eye chakra. Follow your unique quest and watch all of the doors open for you. Affirm, I take the challenge, embark on the quest, and journey forward. This says don't worry about the opinions of others, but also don't worry about the opinion of yourself. Don't let yourself, and I think this is a journal prompt as well, but how do you speak to yourself? How do you communicate with yourself? If you are judging you, then you feel like others are judging you. But if you are affirming yourself and uplifting yourself, then that is going to be your perspective of everything outside of you. Let's do tarot. What tarot got to say? Jump out. We got 2 cards. The Knight of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. Y'all, we've been getting the Four of Pentacles all month long. And y'all know the Four of Pentacles is about your foundation changing, your stability changing, you aligning with a large sum of money, some type of abundance. Then we got the Knight of Cups. Yesterday we had I think it was a doorway to romance. So we about to align with money and a man, or a woman if you're a man watching this. So what does the book say? Four of Pentacles. Stability, savings, success, generosity, accepting your worth, being in flow with the universe, feelings of gratitude, helping others in need. You're building your life coin by coin, and you've reached a moment of stability. Getting here signifies an interval when you can rest, reevaluate, and take stock. Likely you're being reminded to double check those foundations and to save some money for a rainy day. How do you feel about your finances? Continue toward your goal without over-focusing on your possessions, and let go of any jealousy derived from another person's position in life. Negative feelings around abundance will breed energy blockages big enough to hold back even the most magical of trajectories. The tighter you try to hold on to things, the more you block yourself from stepping into the flow of wealth and happiness. If a scarcity mindset is haunting your actions, ask yourself if you're looking down on others based on how much money they have or don't have. Actively save and give in the world and focus on feeling excited and expansive. Affirm, I live an abundant life and I have more than I need. And it's aligned with yesterday's message as well, because yesterday we ended up pulling a card about, what did it say? Matter of fact, I think it was in here. What was that? I'm trying to picture the card, but it ended with if everybody's trying to align with getting, then who is going to be the giver? If you are aligning with receiving or getting, then what are you aligning? How are you, or what are you willing to release or give up? Does that make sense? Because we know that when your hand is closed, it is giving and it is able to get. When your hand is closed, or did I say closed? When your hand is open, it is able to give and it is able to get. When your hand is closed, you aren't able to release anything or receive anything. So have that same mindset when it comes to the energy of your abundance, because we know abundance isn't just tangible fiat or paper money. Abundance is your time, your peace, your energy, your intellect. Like, it's people out there paying for what's on somebody's mind. Are you giving away it for free? Then we got the Knight of Cups. A classic romantic, a passionate soul, artistic tendencies, creativity, wearing your heart on your sleeve, seeking connection, being in love with the idea of love, and chivalry. This classic romantic invites you to step into a world of roses, bubble baths, and champagne, and is fully devoted to you for today, and maybe for every day. This card heralds romance and embodies the graceful movement of a slow dance. Enjoy this flirtation and be present to connect. This knight is intuitive and totally in touch with his emotions. As such, he knows what he wants, and he has no problem wearing his hat on his sleeve. Wearing his heart on his sleeve. This card often signifies someone who is in love with the idea of love itself, and sometimes this comes bundled with unrealistic expectations. Are you ready to be swept off your feet and to allow deep honesty and vulnerability to flow freely in your life? Do you believe in this type of true love? Get ready to take inspiration and run with it, to make art, music, and love in a veritable masterpiece of life. Veritable, and a veritable masterpiece of life. Affirm, I am in touch with my emotions. I am in touch with my emotions. In order to be in touch with your emotions, how we pulled that card from the chakra deck, you got to reflect. You got to go within. Is this my emotion, or is this an emotion that has been imposed or projected upon me? Are these emotions tied to a belief that I was conditioned into believing? Are these beliefs someone else's? In order to be in tune with your emotions, you have to be able to deduce if the emotion is even yours, or if it's based off some type of influence from an external factor. Let's end with a card from a high vibe deck. Spirit, I'm near, I'm clear. Ready to hear. What's the message? What needs to know? Tell me so. Tell me what needs to know. So we got inspiration. The mind is everything. Woo! What you think, you become. I think that I'm healed, so it is done. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. And that is from Buddha. If you think you are worthless, then you become worthless. If you think you are broke, you align with brokenness. Tangible and intangible. You are what you think. What are your thoughts? A new focus. If you are unhappy in your job, in your relationship, or with your body, find something about the situation that does make you happy. For example, I really like the filtered water at work, or it makes me happy that my partner takes out the trash, or it is so great that my legs can carry me around town. When you focus on things you like, you change your body's response. The situation might not be different, but your perspective will be, and you will feel better. It's all about your perspective. It's so funny this came out because recently I started having a more high vibrational perspective, really regarding anything but like technically household chores. So I used to get frustrated that the dishes in my sink like grow overnight, literally, because you don't wash them dishes as soon as you use them. So I'll start the morning washing all the dishes, got clean sink, and by the end of the night it's literally a sink full of dishes again. But and I'll leave them sitting there. Like, if I don't have the energy to wash dishes, I'm not washing dishes. My feelings are valid though. But now it's like, I'm so grateful that I have a sink full of dishes, because that means that my kids are fed, my kids have had something to eat. That means that I've cooked a home cooked meal, because I have had a couple of seasons where my trash can is overflowing with fucking styrofoam and takeout plates because I'm not cooking. So just having the gratitude to be able to prepare a meal and have dishes to eat them off of and have water to wash them out of, like, instead of you and I told y'all that was one of my new moon intentions was to work on complaining less, being more grateful, being more present, releasing complaining. And I have felt the difference within me. A new focus, changing my perspective with the story that I gave y'all. I could have easily went in there feeling like a victim after the fact. I showed up to help y'all. Y'all hoes need my help. Y'all hoes going through this. Y'all, but I didn't. I'm like, Simone, what could you have done differently? How could you have avoided this situation? Though it was meant to happen, it was already written, but how could it have gone differently based off of what you did and what you didn't do? And I deduced that I shouldn't have stepped into someone's business that didn't ask for my assistance. I shouldn't have gone in with judgment, because even when we are trying to inspire someone or encourage them or lead them down the right path, even though now we know there's no such thing as a right or wrong path. The path you are on is the path you were destined to be on. But I went in with a sense of judgment, and that's not godly like. That's not unconditional like. Even if I feel like this person is going 100 miles an hour and about to run straight off the fucking bridge, it's not my place to tell them that you should do that. You should do what your heart tells you to do. You should do what you feel you should do. It's not my place to tell you anything outside of that. Now I can voice, matter of fact, I'm not gonna even voice you doing something is going to make me feel some type of way, because that's not my right. So all I did was change my perspective on how I could have did something differently, how I should have had impeccable listening skills, because again, from the beginning, it was signs and messages beforehand that told me that these people aren't ready to journey on what you are about to journey on. These people aren't seeking the type of enlightenment that you are currently seeking, and that's okay. I hope this message added value. I am Simone the Shepherdess. I don't know why my eye, like having this on my eyes, made me want to do this. I am Simone the Shepherdess, and I was taught that when you get, you give. When you learn, you teach. I'm here to preach, and y'all finna get this word. Have a fabulous Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow.